Circle around.
Okay. For the moment, listen to me. For the moment, don't worry about the pictures because I showed you really nice places to take pictures. So remember, this was the gymnasium. When they opened it, they opened only as a school of gladiators. Then later on, the decision was to open to the young generations of Pompeii. But unfortunately, no girls were allowed to come here. Only the boys. 2,000 years ago, boys were allowed to come here to train different sports. A lot of gym. We know that the boys loved it very much to become with a strong muscle. So the bodybuilders, you know, we learned from the ancient time. They love to have to train a lotta greco-romana. Lotta means fight, Greek-Roman fight. It's very similar to wrestling we have nowadays. But besides this, this was also the place where they prepared these boys for the life, you know, with the cultures. In other words, we can say this was the college of the ancient times, sport and school. It is very important that anywhere we go, all the works in the wood, ceiling, balconies, this kind of doors, wooded timbers in the walls, they're not originals. It's all replica. But how do we know it was like this 2,000 years ago? In some places we found, you know, remains of a carbonized wood. You know, nowadays it's very easy, you know, with the computers, you know, you can rebuild up in a few seconds. So be sure that this was like this already 2,000 years ago. But not only here, it used to be all around. Now I want to show you something here at the bottom of these columns over here. The reason why most of these roofs, even on the houses, were always sloping down, this was the way to catch the rainy water. That's why they gathered. So for many centuries, even rich families must collect rainy water. And just a few years before the tragedy, they finished the constructions of the aqueducts so they could have running water in the house, public fountains, but only for rich people. And imagine they used lead water pipes. Of course, nowadays we know the problems of lead, but not in the ancient time. On my way, I will show to you the original lead pipes. And now, I can see it's still haze around, but a few more minutes we'll have a chance to see where the volcano Vesuvius is. Now, the next building will be the theater of the city.
Why do you have a red rag down here? Just to keep you from being so dusty.
True.
Oh, look at the doggy.
That's the old one.
So I explain in the shade and then I send in the sun. Otherwise, you know, it's
Sounds good.
So I always do like this. I explain to you here in the shade when something that you're going to see, it's on the sun. All right, this way you don't suffer a lot. So the building on my right there, that's the biggest theater of the city. It was a capacity for about 4,000 spectators. With those two levels on the top, those walls, that was the standing level. All right, and then nowadays we have a wooden shelves for the seats and the wood floor for the stage, recomposed by the archaeologists. But 2,000 years ago, the seats were all made out of marble, blocks of marble. So when you enter on the right, you will see some blocks of marble. Everywhere was marble. But what happened? Why nowadays we don't have it anymore? Just very few. Because when they started to dig Pompeii, the city was not really well controlled. Imagine they stole in the past a lot of this marble. And then check it. You see the very top of the walls up there? You have those a black square stone with a hole in the center. Those were the rings in order to tie it with the rope a canopy. Because this theater was covered with a canopy. Now we just move a little bit on this side to have, for the moment, a better view. And you see where the floor of the stage, on the left, there is a wall in red bricks. Those walls, you know, were decorated with the marble statues. And they used 2,000 years ago already like a virtual scenery. How? They use a big wood posters and they painted. So imagine with the sceneries of mountains, rivers, a forest, and this was the way how to organize the show. Now I suggest you go inside, take pictures, but after the picture, don't stand too much under the sun. Come back here in the shade. Why? We passed through the backstage of the ancient time. We got to the top of the steps and you're gonna have a better panoramic view for good pictures, all right?